Hey everyone, talking about Chetyre by Parfum Prissana. This was based on a movie that came out about 20 years ago that's kind of a cult classic about people who meet in a bar and end up sharing their life stories, which turn out to be super intense and weird. And that the intensity and weirdness is definitely incorporated in this scent. This is by Thai perfumer Prin Lomros. Talked about on the channel a few times before. Does amazing stuff with just unbelievably high quality and often natural ingredients. And the notes in this are leather, aldehydes, galbanum, lavender, orris butter, black spruce, pine needle, mimosa, rose, spikenard, vanilla, tar, musk, oakmoss, mushroom, rosewood, fir balsam, carrot seed, clary sage, artemisia, and ivy. But what you're getting above all in this, at least especially at the beginning, smoke to the max. This is like apocalyptic, leathery, smoky, intense, and I love it. I typically like two different kinds of scents. One would be more of like the fresh and sweet kind of combination of citrus stuff, the other being really intense smoky scents, and this fits the latter for sure. So if you don't like smoky scents, this is going to be way too challenging. And I don't say that in a judgmental way, because a lot of stuff is too challenging for my taste, that people would consider kind of basic. But this is not going to work for you probably. If you are just really interested and that sounds like, oh, well, I'm still, I like to check out different stuff just to see what's out there and kind of give my nose interesting experiences or whatever, then yeah, get a sample. But this is just so good if you love really fiery, leathery stuff. It's just like, yeah, leather just like set on fire, but there's like a lightness to it, not in a way that the scent isn't super intense or strong, because it is, but it's not just burnt fire. The other notes kind of lift it, for example, the sort of coniferous green there. And yeah, the coniferous side gives it this kind of bracing freshness that just works really well swirling around through the extreme smoky woods on fire type of vibe. As it dries down, you get kind of some more of the herbal green notes, but it never becomes too bitter herbal. It is very intense in a different way, so it's not like, oh, it's, calm and whatever, but it doesn't get that type of intense where it's like bitter green so much, even though some of the notes might look like it would, at least not to me. And the more it dries down, the more it becomes this kind of like a bit calmer woods. I saw someone in a review compare it to kind of like an old attic or something, and I would agree with that, but in a much nicer and more appealing way than how boring or whatever that might sound. There's a lot of notes in here that I don't explicitly pick up, such as, orris butter, carrot seed, don't really get the ivy, lavender. The aldehydes aren't like Chanel style or something. They're kind of, again, just more supporting the kind of airiness and lift of the other stuff. And then in the dry down, this also reminds me of another one of my favorite fragrances. So this all together reminds me of 3 of my favorite fragrances. And I don't say that lightly, because out of 2,000 plus fragrances that I've tried, only about 15 have been full bottle worthy for me. And this reminds me of 3 of them. Which, again, that's partially just my taste. I'm not saying that this is one of the best scents of all time, but to me, I really, really like it. So the ones it reminds me of: Comme des Garçons Black EDT, Tyrannosaurus Rex by Zoologist, and Fumabat by Couteau de Poche. And it's a lot more intense to me than Comme des Garçons Black EDT. A lot of people think that's super intense. To me, it's not that extreme. But it takes that and marries it with kind of the Tyrannosaurus Rex Zoologist, like, boom, everything on fire, apocalypse vibe. And then by the dry down, it gets to be that like kind of slightly burnt galbanum, smoky with a little bit of herbal green type of vibe that Fumabat has. So I highly recommend this. It is pricey. It's $140 for a 30 ml, but I know that would be the equivalent of, almost $500 for 100 ml. But at the same time, I think that this would be used so sparingly that $140 small 30 ml bottle could last you an extremely long time. I can't imagine running out of this. I mean, first of all, I think you could only wear it when it's really cold out. You would probably just want to wear it kind of for yourself, or unless you were going to be around somebody who had this kind of taste as well. So I think that small bottle would be more than adequate, and I think it's fairly priced given that these are just such high quality ingredients, really stunning fragrance. So I will put a link in the description where you can get a bottle or a sample.